All right, on to page 4. 32 through 34 are evaluating a function, which is Unit 3, Lesson 4. I'll get my arms out of the way in a second. Unit 3, Lesson 4. Basically, it's just plugging a number in for the function. Now, I gave you two functions here. So you have, the f tells you which function to use. So I'm telling you f of negative 15 says put negative 15 in for x in the f function, not this one, this one. So when I'm doing that, I'm doing 2/3 times negative 15 plus 4. So 2 times negative 15 is negative 30, divided by 3 is negative 10, plus 4. So the answer is negative 10 plus 4 is negative 6. What that means is when I put negative 15 into this function, the y value is negative 6. 33. Now I'm using the other function, putting 4 in for x. So when I replace x with 4, I'm going to use parentheses. Order of operations says I need to do this part first, and 4 squared is 16. And then I need multiplication, so 2 times 16 is 32. 32 minus 7 is 25. So when I put 4 in for x, the y value is 25. 34 is a combo. So I'm putting negative 3 in for x on the g function here. So doing that. Negative 3 squared is negative 3 times negative 3, which is positive 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 minus 7 is 11. I'm not done, but I'm going to hold on to that right there. Okay? I got to do this part over here, f of 9. So now I'm going to take 9 and put it in for x in the other function. So 2/3 times 9 plus 4. So 2 times 9 is 18. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. So now what I do is I just take the answer to this one, which was 11, plus the answer to that one, which was 10, and I get my total answer of 21. Okay, 35 through 38 says write an equation or inequality from the given graph. So this is a combo of different units. It's on purpose to make you understand that 35 and 36 are unit 2. 37 is actually unit 4. And then 38 is unit 5. So it's from a bunch of different units. You have to remember all of these different ways of graphing. So 35 and 36 are inequalities because it's shading one side of the number line. The number's -1. So x, I always put x on the left. You don't have to, but I'm going to have x and -1. It's an open circle, so that means it's either going to be a less than or it's going to be a greater than. Okay? Now I just have to figure out which one. I shaded the numbers that are less than -1. So less than would be this. There's my inequality. Okay, the other way you could have written it is -1, like that. Either one would have been okay. Next one has two parts. It's got this part over here and this part over here. So this is an OR inequality. Okay, this is lesson 6, unit 2, lesson 6. So the first one I'm going to look at is over here. So the shaded parts are less than or equal to -2, or they're on the other side of 5. So x is bigger than 5, or greater than 5. Not equal to because it's an open circle. 37 has no shading. It's not an inequality then, it's an equation. So this is finding the slope and finding the y-intercept. The y-intercept is 3. The slope is just, let's count from here to here. So down 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 4, so that's -4. Right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right 5 is +5. There's my two things that I need. Now I can write my equation. Y equals -4/5 x plus 3. And notice this is an equals. You do kind of the same thing for 38, but this one is shading, which is why it's unit 5. So we're going to do the same beginning, the slope and y-intercept. The slope is, I'm going to find two nice points. Looks like there and there. The y-intercept is -1. The slope is up 1, 2, 3, right 1, up 3, right 1. Okay, so I got my slope and my y-intercept. But now it's going to be a different sign. It's either going to be that, 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 or that, because of the shading. Okay? It's a dotted line, which means those two things are out. If it was a solid line, it'd be the opposite. And I shaded below the line. Below means less than, so it's that one. That's my sign. Now I'm just going to write it, but instead of an equal sign, I'm going to put that sign. Y is less than 3 over 1, or just 3, x minus 1. Okay. 39 and 40, that's just a system of equations. That's Unit 5, lessons 2 and 3. This one looks like it's elimination. That's what I would do. You could do substitution, but it wouldn't be pretty. I'm going to eliminate, looks like you can choose. You could eliminate the x. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the y. The numbers are a little smaller. I'm going to multiply this one by negative 5, and I'm going to multiply this one by 2. Now, I'll see what happens here. The negative 5 gets multiplied into each of those three things, so it's negative 25x, negative 10y, and negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20. Bottom one, multiply everything by 2, so it would be 8x plus 10y equals 14. So the reason I multiplied by those numbers, I wanted to eliminate y, so they had to be the same number but opposite. And the reason for that is, when I add them, negative 25x plus 8x is negative 17x. Negative 10y plus 10y is 0y. And if there's no y's left, there's no y's left. And then 20 plus 14 is 34. And now I can solve for x by dividing by negative 17. And you get x equals negative 2. We're not done, though, because there's an x and a y. I've only found the x, which is the first one in your ordered pair. To find y, take negative 2 and plug it back in. I'm going to go with the bottom one since everything's positive. Make sure you put it in for the right variable. Negative 2 goes in for x. Plus 5y equals 7. So 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Plus 5y equals 7. Add 8, you get 5y equals 15. You get y equals 3. And there's my solution. You can check it very easily by taking negative 2, putting it in for x. Take 3, plug it in for y. See if you get negative 4. You will in this problem. Number 40, I would do substitution since you have a variable already by itself. So what that means is anywhere you see a y, you can replace it with negative 3x plus 11. And I'm going to go ahead and do that here. So 3x plus 2, but instead of y, I'm going to put negative 3x plus 11 equals 7. So 3x, distribute the 2, I'm going to get negative 6x plus 22 equals 7. 3x minus 6x is negative 3x plus 22 equals 7. Subtract 22, I get negative 3x equals negative 15, and I get x equals positive 5. Now to find y, I'm going to plug it back into the original top one. That one's probably the easiest. Y equals negative 3 times 5 plus 11. So that's negative 15 plus 11, so y equals negative 4. And again, you can check it by taking 5 and putting it in for x, negative 4 putting it in for y, for the other equation that you didn't use to solve for y. There's your answer. And that is the end of page 4.